I want to tell you a story. It's about how a kid who was bullied and literally thrown down a flight of stairs grew up to aim for the stars. And it's an incredible journey of struggle, unbelievable risk, and a vision that could, quite literally, change the future of all of us.
So let's just start with a question. I want you to picture this kid. He's painfully shy, a total outsider. He gets bullied so badly at school that he's actually thrown down a staircase. What do you think happens to a person like that?
Well, he grows up to become Elon Musk. And his story, it's not just about getting rich or famous. It's almost like a blueprint for how to turn childhood pain into world-changing ambition.
To really get who this guy is, we have to go back, way back, to the beginning, to his childhood in South Africa.
So, Musk was born in 1971, and from what everyone says, he was a really quiet, introverted kid who pretty much lived in books. But he wasn't just reading for fun. He was just soaking up information, and he even taught himself how to code. But, that kind of intense focus, it made him a target. He was the outsider, and school was a pretty brutal place for him. And look, we're not talking about just some name-calling here. The bullying was physical, it was severe, and it all led to this one incident on a staircase that was so bad it actually put him in the hospital. It's a tough start for anyone, but even then, another part of his story was just starting to take shape.
And right here, this is the first little glimpse of the entrepreneur we know today. At just 12 years old, while he's dealing with all this social chaos, he's channeling his energy into creating something. He coded a whole video game called Blastar and sold it for about $500. That's a huge turning point. And that little creative spark, well, it lit a fire that eventually carried him all the way from South Africa to chase a much, much bigger dream in North America.
This quote right here, this tells you everything you need to know. It was never just about starting a company to make some money. Even back in his college days, his focus was on one thing, working on problems that could fundamentally change the direction of humanity.
But those huge visions, they almost always start small. And for him, it was really small. When he first got to America, he had basically nothing. He poured every bit of energy and the tiny amount of money he had into his first company, Zip2. He was so all in that he would sleep on a couch in the office and shower at the local YMCA, all because he couldn't even afford an apartment. And this willingness to sacrifice, to put everything on the line, that would become his signature move. As his goals got bigger, the risks they got astronomical.
So, after selling his first couple of companies, he takes his entire fortune and bets it all on two insane ideas, SpaceX and Tesla. And almost immediately, things went horribly wrong. His dream of sending rockets to space literally blew up on the launch pad. The first rocket failed, the second one failed, and then the third one failed too. At the exact same time, his other huge bet, Tesla, was just burning through cash. The company was right on the brink of total collapse, just trying to get its very first electric car into production. I mean, he was fighting a war on two fronts, and he was losing badly on both of them.
He was pretty much out of cash. Both of his companies were about to disappear forever. He had just enough money left for one final do-or-die rocket launch. If that one failed, everything was gone. SpaceX, Tesla, the whole dream. But here's the crazy part. That fourth launch didn't fail. It worked. It was a spectacular success. And from that one moment, on the very edge of total ruin, an empire started to rise. The success of that launch just opened the floodgates. After his early wins with Zip2 and what became PayPal, he dove into his life's work. In 2002, he starts SpaceX with this wild goal of making humanity a multi-planetary species. Just 2 years later, he's at Tesla, pushing to move the entire world to sustainable energy. And then in 2016, he founds Neuralink, which wants to connect our brains to computers. I mean, every single one of these is a massive, world-changing bet.
So, he did it, right? He won. A massive success. But the story doesn't just end there. Because when you have this level of ambition, you also have an unbelievable level of volatility. Okay, check this out. In January 2021, mostly because Tesla's stock went through the roof, Elon Musk officially became the richest person in the world. His net worth? Over $185 billion. It seemed like the ultimate proof that he'd made it. But what goes up? Well, you know how it goes. That massive, incredible peak was followed by an even more staggering fall. The market turned, Tesla's stock dropped, and his fortune just evaporated. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. He became the first person in history to watch his personal wealth drop by over $200 billion.
It's a record-breaking loss that just shows you the insane financial risks that are always part of his world.
So if it's not really about the money, which can show up and disappear on such an epic scale, what is it really about? Well, this brings us right back to his core philosophy.
Through all those insane financial ups and downs, the mission has stayed exactly the same. And it's really built on two huge goals. First, speed up the world's move to sustainable energy. And second, lower the risk of human extinction by making us a species that lives on more than one planet. And that's really the heart of it all. The billions of dollars, the fame, the controversy, it's all just noise. The real story is about a shy, bullied kid who got obsessed with a couple of gigantic ideas and simply refused to let them go, no matter how many times he failed and no matter what it cost him.
So it kind of leaves you with a pretty powerful thought, right? If one person's absolute refusal to quit can lead to electric cars becoming cool, to reusable rockets, to plans to colonize Mars, what's your big idea? And what could happen if you just refused to give up on it?